Huh. Hello, my black and white brothers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Alpha Anime, and this is What If Deku Had Nine's Powers Part 5? 4? 3 to 1? I do not know. If only I knew. I'll check later. So yeah, let's get into this what if. Where we just left off, we saw Deku start the UA Sports Festival, and now it's time for the race. By the way, sorry about my voice. I don't know what's going on. Water. Okay, so where we left. So yeah, it's the sports festival, the race, and now Deku can fly. So now let's get farther into it, I guess. Yeah. So Deku lifts off the air with bits of electricity coming off of him. It's like static electricity, but then the static electricity goes much farther than normal. Everyone's looking at him in awe, saying like, "Yo, what is this guy's quirk?" When they see this, after they say this, Deku starts blasting off using his air wall in front of him to stop from just like ramming into things, so he doesn't need to stop for many reasons. But the more he uses it, the more it tires him out, since he's using his storm quirk, or not storm quirk, his weather manipulation quirk to fly right now. As he's flying, he gets to the 0-pointers, and instead of just going around them, since he just wants to show off, cause why not? He gets his bullet lasers and uses them as a whip again, and basically slashes the 0-pointer into multiple different pieces, absolutely obliterating it. Another one tried to sneak up on him, even though that thing is freaking gigantic. And as soon as he felt a little bit of contact, he activated his Hydra, destroying the arm of the 0-pointer, and then he created another one to take out the other arm. Then he proceeded to use both of them at the same time to ram into that 0-pointer to absolutely obliterate it, sending it back to his ancestors. Toroki and Baku, seeing the mastery of what Deku has done with his quirk, are intimidated, but then they don't show it, but then they're mentally intimidated, and they're like, "Oh my god, I don't want to fight this guy. No, thank you." Except Bakugo, who wants to say, "Ugh, I still have a better quirk than that guy." So yeah, then Deku keeps flying. And then he just as soon as he gets to the canyons, he realizes that he's basically out of energy with his storm quirk, and he begins to fall. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this guy's about to die. He just fell into that abyss, like the one that you jump across the floors." But then what people don't notice is when Deku uses his Hydra to hang on by biting the ground and lifting himself up. After that, he starts to use his Hydras to propel himself upwards by using them as like a jumping mechanism that he thrusts into the ground, and which pushes him up. People are cheering and are in awe and being like, "Hey yo, what's this guy's quirk?" President Mike, noticing everyone's valid confusion and amazement, say, "The leading student is also leading the race. Izuku Midoriya, whose quirk is named Database. He can copy and store quirks for as long as he wants. He can also give quirks." When everyone hears this, they're amazed, but one person in particular is focused on Deku. That one person is none other than Endeavor. After hearing that he can give quirks, is severely jealous and wants Deku to give him a quirk, but then he can't do it now since everyone is busy. So back there, Deku got to the minefield first, but then Bakugo and Toroki are catching up quickly. So he devises a plan where he goes into the air with his He goes into the air with his air wall, and then he blasts the ground, sending him flying, breaking the air wall, but also propelling him forward due to the bombs going off. This works, and he successfully does it. And when he's about to land, he uses his air wall to soften his landing and get back on his feet really quickly. But before he notices, Bakugo surpasses him, but then not for long enough, because he proceeds to jump into the air with his Hydras, then using his bullet lasers to propel himself even farther, giving him the win. After that, it's announced about how the person with first place gets 1,000,000 points and all that jazz. As soon as everyone hears this, people start to want to join Deku for a few reasons. One, he's severely overpowered. Second, because they want to get some of that quirk jazz that they say that he can give, if you know what I mean. And that's not even a sex joke. It's just literal. It's literally what it sounds like. They just want a quirk. Deku, realizing this, tries to go for his people who he knows are the real ones. Like, he goes for Uraraka. He also goes for a girl named Mei Hatsume. Is that the name? That starts touching him in multitude of ways that he does not like. When she realizes that he can most likely get number one. When she does that, he proceeds to get his Hydras out and grab her by the arm and just remove her from his general direction. But then she's still in the group. He also finds Mineta, but then he realizes that if he picks him, he's probably gonna try something with Uraraka or Mei, and then he's like, you know what? How about I don't do that? So instead, he tries to go for Ida, but then since Ida is a straight son of a bitch, he doesn't, because he says that he sees Deku as a rival, which is please stop overestimating yourself, bro. Don't do that. And he finds instead, because he sees Bakugo as a rival, he doesn't go for him, and Toroki is just flat out of I don't even know what to call him. So he doesn't get to any of them, but Tokoyami approaches him and asks if he can join the group. So yeah, the group is basically the same, unless I'm forgetting someone. If so, whatever. So instead of never mind. Deku is still on top, so when they blow the whistle, everyone starts gunning for Deku, but Deku then proceeds to release his Hydras and gets ready for someone to attack him. When people attack him, he uses his air wall to stop them in their tracks, and then uses his air blast to blast them away, which most of the time sends them off their person, basically disqualifying them. And that's their go-to move until they realize that some people like Todoroki and Bakugo can probably get past this easily. So Deku asks Uraraka to make everyone lighter, and then asks Atsume to start her whatever those things are to make them fly. Then he also begins to use his weather manipulation quirk to start flying as well. When he flies up there, Bakugo tries to go for him. He fails. Oh no. He fails. But then it was still a good attempt. He reached for the 1,000,000 headband. Didn't work, sadly. But then Deku quickly got tired with the extra weight. So he said that, okay, we're gonna need to land now, or I might be knocked out. So they land now, and then Todoroki starts gunning for them. He starts by sending a giant air wall at them, but then it does not work. Huh. Now, as soon as that happens, Todoroki goes for them, and with a reciprocal burst by Ida, he manages to grab the 1 million headband. But it didn't come. It came at a cost, because as soon as that happened, they saw that Deku had stolen both of their headbands. The the is it the 500 one? Whatever. His third place headband and another headband that they had stolen. Which, when he notices this, they just go away because they have what they came for. Then, when Bakugo sees this, he still guns for Deku to get the both of the headbands because he still wants to be number one. But before he can even get there, time runs out. For simplicity's sake and for the sake of me keeping my sanity, everyone that got into the tournament the first time got into the 1v1s the second time, because I really, really do not want to have to create a whole other whatever that's a bracket for just this. So yeah, first up is Deku versus Shinzo. When they announce this, some purple-haired kid comes up and what am I saying? He comes up onto the arena, and following him is Deku. When they both get on the arena, by the way, Ojiro, before Deku got on the arena, told Deku about how if you talk to Shinzo, you're probably gonna get mind controlled or something. Deku, hearing this and understanding this, goes up to the stage, and then he scans Shinzo, seeing exactly what his quirk is and realizing what he has to do. As soon as it starts, Shinzo starts trying to bombard Deku with insults. He goes for how Ojiro must have tipped him off or something. But Deku just keeps walking forward, emotionless, until he says one thing. He says, "Oh, it must have been great to grow up with two parents. I've only had a father. I'm an orphan, so it must have been great for you." Deku stops. Full stops. He looks at Shinzo with murderous intent. But when he notices that he's about to most likely kill Shinzo, Deku calms down a little bit. But he summons all of his quirks at once, because he's like, yeah, nah.
Okay.
As soon as this happens, Shinzo shuts the up, because there's a reason to be afraid right now, because Deku could easily rip him limb from limb right now with any of his quirks. So all Deku does is float down at him and ask him to leave the arena. Shinzo chooses to try and attack Deku. Deku uses his shield and then proceeds to blast him through the air with his air wall, catch him again with his Hydra, slam him into the ground, and then slam him into the wall. He makes sure that he doesn't knock him out. Just leaves him on the verge of that. And then right before Shinzo is knocked out by natural causes, he walks up to him and says, "My father was killed, so don't say that again." So when everyone sees this, they realize that if they talk about his father, they're dead. They're as good as gone. Everyone claps, and they're like, I guess we should clap? I don't know what to do right now. Because this kid basically just obliterated this kid for talking about his dead father. Which is, you know what, kinda justified, not gonna lie. I'm sorry if you hear all this. It's starting to rain here. Okay, so the rest of the fights go the same. except for the Bakugo X. I mean, not X. Oh no, the Bakugo versus Kuraka fight, which he doesn't brutally injure her like last time, since he respects Deku and he very much sees what's going on between them. He all he does is walk up to Araka and he just carefully throws her out of the ring. Now it's time for one of the main events, Tararoki versus Deku. Before the fight starts, two things happen. The first thing is Toroki confronts Deku and does all that jazz of saying that objectively he's stronger than him, but this time Deku says, yeah, that's bullshit. he, he says that to its face and says, yeah, when your quirk, and Deku tells Toroki that hey Toroki, when your quirk can literally shape an entire arena, talk to me. Then Deku walks away, but not before asking why. Telling him that he won't be able to beat him with only half his power. Toroki frowns and says, "I will. I'm not going to use that damn beast's power." I swear to God, if my freaking roof gets ripped off my head, I'm gonna be like crap. On his way to the arena, Deku spots Endeavor, or it's more like Endeavor spots Deku because he was looking for him the entire time. He goes up to Deku and says, "Wait, you can transfer quirks, right?" Deku says, "Yeah, it's part of my quirk." And then Endeavor says, "Give me a quirk." Deku says, "No." Endeavor says, "You will give me a quirk. I am the number 2 hero. I outrank you." Deku then says, "Well, I overpower you. Shut up." And then when Endeavor hears this, he tries to throw a fireball at Deku. Deku blocks it, grabs Endeavor's face, not his face, his collar, and brings him down to his height. Deku brings out his finger lasers on one of his hands and brings out a Hydra, both of his Hydras on his back, and says, "Look, I know what you did to Todoroki. I'm gonna make him use his fire, but not as a favor to you, but as a way to show him that he can kill someone when he's not using his full power. And you better know damn right that after hearing what you did to him as a child, ain't giving you crap. So live with this fact, or live with a scar on your face as well." So Deku basically just threatened the absolute hell out of Endeavor. And Deku says, "Oh, by the way, I need money." Endeavor says, "Yeah, like I'm gonna give you money." Then Deku says, "Well, you did just try to attack me. If I tell everyone, you're probably gonna be ejected and thrown in jail." Endeavor realizes the fact that he's being blackmailed and says, "Fine, how much?" Deku says, 1,000,000 yen. Endeavor says, "Yo, I don't even make that much." Deku says, "Well, hand it over. I don't care." Endeavor fortunately has some hanging around from I don't know where, but he does it regardless. And then now Deku is basically he got money. That's all. I just wanted to add that in because it's funny. So now time for the Deku versus Todoroki fight. When they say go, Todoroki instantly just sends massive attack that he did on Sarah, but then 2 times that on Deku. They think Deku is frozen, but then they start to hear cracks, and then they see a giant fire tornado being made by Deku. Deku is just standing there. He tells Tararoki that if you're not gonna use your full power, neither am I. So I'm just gonna stand here and tire out for the rest of the fight. Deku then proceeds to stay in one place. All Toroki tries to do is send an onslaught of attacks on him. He stands still and just keeps sending fire tornadoes out. I'm not even then Deku says, I'm not even using the full power of even one of my quirks. You think you're gonna beat me with two, with only one at its full potential? Ha! Try. Deku then starts upping his game by sending tornadoes at him, sending tornadoes at Toroki before he was just guarding. Todoroki keeps trying to find angles, but it doesn't work. And then Deku finally says, Todoroki, why is everyone here giving it their all when you're just trying to use only half your power? Just because one of your quirks is fire and one of his quirks is fire does not mean it's the same thing. Todoroki hears this and remembers a distant memory of his mother, which I don't know why, when she poured hot water scarring him for life, or hot tea, I don't really know, but whatever. Then Todoroki starts being engulfed by flames. He then asks, did my father pay you off? Deku says, well, I might have gotten money from him, but then it wasn't for the reason you think it is. Deku says, well, I blackmailed him, so Todoroki smiles and says, well, thanks for that. And I hope you didn't give him a quirk or anything. Deku then says, well, he confronted me about it. I threatened him, so no dice. Todoroki smiles and starts sending an onslaught of attacks at Deku. Deku starts getting serious and actually starts using the rest of his quirks. He uses his bullet lasers to slash through his ice, and then uses his air cannon and air thing to block the fire, and starts running towards Todoroki. He starts flying and sends lightning at Todoroki. Todoroki dodges because he anticipated that happening, then sends a onslaught of fire at him. Deku then says, well, I think I should end the fight now. Todoroki says, I'm thinking of the same thing. Deku then uses his hydras and his air cannon to grab Todoroki and throw him out of the ring. And using an air cannon to send him faster, so to make sure that he actually gets out. So that's what happens. So Todoroki loses. All that stuff happens. Deku's crowned the winner of this part. Then now it's time. I'm gonna do this last part because I want to get through the series quickly. Now it's time for the Bakugo versus Deku fight. Bakugo instantly charges at Deku, saying, I have to beat you to show everyone that I'm number one. Deku says, yeah, I'd like to see you try. Then they rush at each other. Deku gets out his hydras and starts jumping around, using them as an enhancement. He then uses his bullet lasers to start shooting at Bakugo. Bakugo is dodging and goes up into the air using what's his special attack called again? Yes, Counter Impact. Bakugo uses Counter Impact on Deku as soon as he realizes that he can't keep this fight going for long or he's gonna lose, and uses a Counter Impact, sending Deku flying, but Deku catches himself by using his hydras and sticking himself onto the ground. Deku then starts flying and sends multiple tornadoes at Bakugo. Bakugo wasn't expecting this, so he's sent out of the ring, winning Deku the 1v1s. So it's all that stuff happens. They don't have to chain Bakugo this time because Bakugo I don't know how to say. Bakugo isn't as much as a douchebag, so he accepts the loss and doesn't need to be chained. And now the tournament arc is over, and that's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and so stay safe, stay cool, and wear a mask, please, you lousy son of a